Mahalo. Aloha, welcome to the, stop yelling at me. You have to yell at me?
Hello. Aloha, and welcome to the August meeting of the Kāneʻohe Neighborhood Board. We are in session. First order of business is to fill vacancies on the board. Before that happens, our letter to ask for the at-large assignments is at the Neighborhood Commission office, and they have their meeting on Monday of next week, and they'll vote on that. So next meeting, we should be able to fill these vacant seats with at-large. So in the meantime, if there's anyone here from Subdistrict 2, Crown Terrace, Subdistrict 9, Keapuka, Subdistrict 13, Kokokahi, Subdistrict 14, Yacht Club Terrace, if you're interested in serving on the board, now is the time to step forward or announce yourself online. Hearing none. Moving on to city and state community reports. First up is Honolulu Fire Department. On a call. Okay. Honolulu Police Department. We're listening in on the radio.
Good evening, members of the board. Is it on? Can you hear? And members of the audience, I'm Lieutenant Sanford Yu, one of your lieutenants for night watch in District 4. Present the crime stats to you for July. It's probably the best I've seen in a long time. No motor vehicle thefts, no burglaries, no robberies. Thefts decrease from 10 to 5. However, motor vehicle break-ins increase from 2 to 5. We're willing to answer any questions at this time.
That's awesome report. Thank you. Any particular reason, do you think?
Can be a variety of things. Can be the usual criminals got locked up. They're shopping in other districts. People finally come to their senses and lock their doors in houses. Can be a lot of different things.
Any questions for the Honolulu Police Department? Sakamoto.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Lieutenant. 2 Sundays ago, I experienced 52 high-speed vehicles on the H3 turning around by exit 11 by Kamehameha where I live. I texted Captain Campbell and he said he appreciated. Did he ever follow up with the incident that I reported to Captain Campbell?
I was working that night, Mr. Sakamoto. They came through. When we got the call, my officers chased them out of the district.
Oh, okay.
That was a night where it was raining, so it was out of the ordinary for them to come through. Usually they only come in when it's dry.
Okay, thank
But
you.
we've
Thank-
been enforcing every night pending calls
Yeah,
on the H3.
give them hell. Yeah. And then, thank you. But one.
Sorry, this is Sergeant Nakagawa. Last night, 3 excessive speeding citations, 14 speeding citations issued on the
Okay.
H3.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, one more question. You know, I brought this up for a resident. She had concerns about your big tree on your block, you know, the pine tree. What happens if it falls either way on a storm? Are you folks prepared to, or gonna erase that tree or just leave it if something happens?
Depending how big the tree is, sometimes HFD has enough chainsaw to cut it down. If not,
Okay,
it's going to sit there until road crew can come and remove it.
yeah, hope it doesn't fall your way. Thank you.
Any other questions for the Honolulu Police Department? Yes, sir. You're going to have to go to a microphone and speak loudly to it. Otherwise, the cameraman's going to chew you out.
Robert Harder, just clarification, what is excessive speed?
81 miles an hour over the posted speed limit. Or depending on what the speed limit is.
Okay,
If it's a 25 mile an hour zone, probably at 54 miles an hour. So that's you're on the freeway, 55 miles an hour, each 1 or more miles over the speed limit. That's not supposed to be.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Mahalo.
Good night.
Next up, Marine Corps Base Hawaii.
Good evening, Chair, board members, and community members. Several things that I'd like to share that were occurrences in July. It was a very, very busy month outside of all of the noise impacts of RIMPAC training, which I'm glad to announce is finally over. We have had a busy July. As we reported last month, we did host the canoe regatta with over 3,000 participants. We also had the Paipaiʻohe fish pond interns came for a Nu'upia workday. And the second half of the day, we also took them to several locations on the installation that have cultural significance. For many of those interns, they had never been to Mokapu, so it was a good experience for them. We also hosted a junior lifeguard program over the month of July. We've blessed to have several very talented lifeguards who are big wave surfers and very knowledgeable. Ian Matherston. We also have Clark Abbey. They put together a junior lifeguard program and it was well received. Also, Kāneʻohe High School JROTC will be coming to do their junior cadet program the 11th and 12th of September. And we also have open to the public a race series. Once a month, there is a 5K race that is open to the public. And I'll leave the information on the table for how to participate. There is a registration, a pre-enrollment registration for the next race, which is actually a triathlon. The due date is August 30th. So I'll have that information on the table. In addition, with the closure of the RIMPAC training for this past year, I have a flyer for reporting noise. We really would appreciate the reporting to be done on our form. So there is a QR code that you can click and easily input all of the information. In doing so, this data is collected and then I'm able to send that to the McCass, the air station, so that they're aware of what the impacts are to the community. And if there's any questions, that's all I have.
Any questions for Marine Corps Base Hawaii? Sakamoto.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Christy. Thank you for getting back to me on the getting on base. I'll contact the provost marshal person. There was an incident, I think Auntie Rocky brought up at the last neighbor board about the sandbar. How's that going with these people doing weird things over there? Is the Marine Corps Base Hawaii getting involved?
Yes, we did attend the meeting that Auntie Rocky had mentioned on August 11th. The general manager for the marina and one of the lead staff members attended. And the Marine Corps is an example of how we would like to move forward with DLNR. As you folks know, a couple of the questions that were asked of the Marine Corps were, is there any intention to grow the fleet that is currently in place? And that answer is no, and it has been no for several years. Additionally, they asked how many pontoons there are. There are 24 and there are 9 Boston whalers. To include the amount of oversight that is implemented for anybody renting a boat, they have to take a test, they have a license, and if they don't follow the rules, that license and privilege can be revoked immediately, which occurs frequently. In addition, questions were asked about oversight on the water. While they're renting the boats, there are 2 patrol boats that stay on the water at all times. They guide them out. They observe if there are any behaviors or activities occurring that go against the rules. And they've been told that if there is anything on the water, then they'll be asked to return back to the dock. So some of those things were brought up during that meeting.
Thank you, Chris.
Any other questions for Marine Corps Base Hawaii? Laura?
Chrissy, so the DLNR, they are the enforcement?
DLNR is the enforcement for the sandbar. Yes, Ahu'alaka.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And that's not just DLNR, it's a organization under DLNR. That's DOBAR.
Yes.
Department of Boating and Recreation. Thank you. Next up is Windward Community College. Dr. Artis.
Aloha mai kako. We're still in the heat of registration. Monday classes begin. The storm kind of threw us with the closure during a peak registration season. So if you know someone who wants to take classes, you can still register next week. But we want people to register as fast as they can so that they don't miss any of their classes. We have the Paniolo Barbecue coming up on September 19th. Everyone's invited. It's going to be a super fun day. The flyers should be going out now for barbecue plates at only $15, and pretty much everything except for the food is free that day, and horse rides, I think there's a small charge for. But other than that, there's games for the kids, there's activities, you can draw on bandanas, you can plant seeds, you can shoot out invasive species with vaguely gun-like instruments, and have a really nice day. And I guess the other piece of news that's getting out is the UH system is changing its structure, where by December there will not be a community college subsystem. Chancellors at each community college will be reporting directly to the president, and the community college system will be absorbed into the higher level of the UH system. So lots of changes going on at UH, but we're still windward. So that's all I have.
Is that a good thing?
It could be. It could be. I think it's from a community college chancellor standpoint, I think having the direct line to the president, whether for providing input or just understanding why system decisions are being made, I think that's exciting. And then the details, we see how it works out, right? That's a separate question. They're utilizing a new model of budgeting this year based on performance. So some things have changed, but my general fund budget as allocated by the legislature, I do not predict, we haven't gotten our budget yet officially. I don't predict that to change. But for example, the monies we didn't spend in our budgets from the year before, usually they would go to the system, and the next day the system would give them back to us. So we always had control of our carry forward. And the current administration is looking to utilize that in more system-wide strategic ways. So we got back a certain percentage, and the rest was utilized for system-level functioning. So I got back most of mine because we just didn't have a lot of money to carry forward. We spend everything, right? Windward is not we have the lowest level of staffing in the UH system, and our budget's not particularly high either. So most of the carry forward that people had was built up from when we got COVID subsidies, and we utilized ours. For example, we used ours for scholarships for all our entering. That's how Ho'ole started before Castle Foundation came in. So the first year of COVID, when we had those fundings, we just gave every single graduating senior full tuition scholarship, and really worked to get that money back into the community. So I lost about, I think, $120,000. Others lost a lot more than that, and not lost, it moved to the system and will be utilized in different ways. Tuition has not changed, and it's not scheduled to change this year or next year.
I'm curious, just from a budget standpoint, what's the incentive to use funds? What's the incentive if you're not getting anything back in a carryover? Is there an incentive to use? I don't want to say that because I know she does.
Are you trying to ask me if the incentive is to just spend everything like crazy?
Thanks. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and try and do that with UH procurement, right? That should not be. we're a bureaucracy. You can try and spend hard, but honestly, for us, I don't have a huge amount of carry forward. And while last year, 16% of our carry forward was kept per BOR policy to create a central reserve. So we have a reserve now at the system level, not just at the campus. But traditionally, most of the things, like for example, with the recent storm, if the campus maintained damage, that comes out of my budget somehow. And maybe I get HIEMA comes in and refunds me for it, but I'm the one who puts the money out. So I never want to spend my carry forward to zero because all it'll take is like a crazy year. And also, yeah, there's more to it than that even, but you want to, a responsible chancellor wants to maintain a cushion because things happen, right? So I probably will, we were allowed to keep up to 20% of our operating budget, and I probably would like to keep, and that could change next year. I don't know what next year said. We didn't know this year. I didn't spend to within 20% because I was trying to. I spent to within 20% because I actually needed all of those different things. Like even the things you could say were maybe fluff is we're finally going to be able to take our va'a, our navigating canoes, to the ocean. We bought a truck and a trailer. And so in a way, I don't think if I had asked for that from the system and said like, I need a truck and trailer for my Hawaiian Studies program, I'm not sure that's high priority. I'm not saying that they would poo-poo it just because of, but I don't think it's high priority for a system level decision. But for us, that's absolutely game changing. My Hawaiian Studies program, now students can't just think about getting out in the water. They actually can go and get out in the water because we don't have a direct channel to the sea here,
And
except in the Kona Low.
I have a representative with Andy Kawano, who happens to be the budget director, but he's also the mayor's rep when he comes to the meetings.
Oh, yeah.
Who is the point of contact at the state? You know?
For budget?
Yeah.
I know who mine is within UH. It's Louis Salverio, but I don't know. I mean, we always end up, when we talk budget, it goes through the legislative procedures. So it ends up in Ways and Means on
Maybe
the
that's
Senate side.
maybe that's a question for Lisa and Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When they come.
And I saw Mr. Sakamoto has a question as well.
Oh, thank you, Artist Sakamoto here.
But if you have more, Mo, I wasn't meaning to cut you off. I'm totally happy to like answer more budget questions. I'm known for being tight with the money, so.
Sakamoto.
Thank you. Artist, thank you for coming, your report. How old is Windward Community College, when it started, and what is your major thing to do with infrastructure? Is there something that's needed right away? Electrical, roofing? What's the big thing here on Windward Community? How old it is?
Certainly. So Windward Community College was founded in 1972, which makes it 54 years old. It's 1 year older than me. Fun fact, that's how I can remember. So we have several infrastructure needs that are going through CIP process. If you came up, the reason that we're meeting here is because our Hawaiian Studies building, which is much older, it was part of the original state hospital facilities. It was the doctor's residence. That is finally being renovated. The building I'm located in, Alakai, which is where most of administration, financial aid, business office, admissions registration, that building has not been renovated in, I don't know how long, at least if ever. Maybe it was like in the 1970s. It has not. And so that one is next up on the list. We have a building, Hale'awa, which is, it used to be the law library. As you're coming up towards here, it's on the left. It doesn't even really look like it's part of our campus. I'd really like to have that functional. We could use the building. Two-story building, looks kind of abandoned. And it is abandoned technically. So I believe we are getting design funds for that building so that we can plan. The thought is to put our middle colleges. We have 2 high schools that are on campus here. The Halau Hekili from Kailua does Hawaiian Knowledge Innovation Certificate, and we have Pu'ohala, which does the Ahupua and Mo'olelo certificates within Hawaiian Studies while they're here. They're here 2 days a week. They're at the high schools 2 days a week, and they're in the community 1 day a week. Actually, Pu'ohala is 3 days at the, 1 at Pu'ohala school, and I think 2 at Castle. Anyway, we'd like to put them in their own building. Right now, they're kind of in random classrooms to make it happen. So Hale'awa to me is a very important need so that we can adequately, we're the only middle college in the state of Hawaii, and we're piloting this idea of high school students being on the college campus and taking students who are the least likely potentially to go to college and make it so that they feel very at home within a college atmosphere. This will be our first year. We'll have seniors in Hawaii Kili. Okay.
Well, stick around for the DLNR brief about the Hawaii Loa campus. That's coming next.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I'll get myself in trouble.
Thank you very much, Artis. Next is Office of Hawaiian Affairs. Castle High School.
Good evening, everyone. I am Kāneʻohe Bivin from Castle High School. And I'm just here to share real quick that the 7th anniversary Diamond Jubilee went well. There were lots of people, vendors, entertainment, etc.
Hi, my name is Noah Akamine, and I wanted to report that there's going to be a CPAC garage sale this Saturday from 8 to 2 in the auditorium parking lot. Also, we're also like starting preparation for our homecoming, and our homecoming week is going to be from September 29th to October 3rd. Sorry.
My name is Cameron Pierce. We have a lot of community service events coming up. Some of these are the Okinawan Festival, Out of the Darkness Walk, Huimanu Elementary Fun Fair, and the Kāneʻohe Elementary Fun Fair. Anyone would like to volunteer, please contact Miss Amori, so she can. Thank you.
How do we get in touch with her?
Phone number.
And I don't want you to throw a phone number out in front of
Email.
email.
Yes.
You
Oh,
think
yeah.
you can let me know what the email is so I can let our folks know? Thank you. Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joseph, and then I just had a couple questions for like the city and council and stuff, or maybe Hawaiian Electric if they're here.
Sure.
One of my concerns is, what are they preventing for the outages this next storm coming? And then one of my concerns because at school after this hurricane came and then all the power was out for a really long time, which is like, and it was kind of concerned because like we've had worse hurricanes than this before, and then like our power has only been out for like maybe a couple hours, but not as bad as like how Kahuipa Street had to wait like 30, 40 plus hours. And usually before it'd be like up in 5 hours. Over at Castle right now, because of this hurricane, we're out of Wi-Fi. And then it's like after the power came back on, like we have power and everything and AC is all working and everything. But then there's some classes that still don't have Wi-Fi. So a lot of school is much more different now since we rely on computers more now, or like we barely do any paperwork. So nobody really prepared for this outcome to happen. So, and then it's going to take about at least a week for the parts to come in. So I just wanted to know if there's anything they're doing for the next storm coming up.
Did that happen before?
Wi-Fi problem? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. It's just this one. Yes.
Wi-Fi or do you know, or does she know?
She might know.
Because I think we need to have that directed to whether it's Wintel, Spectrum.
Oh yeah, that's true. But that's all from me.
Great question. Thank you.
Yes, you had a question?
Yeah, Board Member Sakamoto. With this electricity you just mentioned at the school, how was the cafeteria with the food? Was it thrown away or was it saved with backup generators, you think? was it impacted? You guys still had lunches to get food, I guess?
I would have to ask Mr. Mori that.
And then another thing is robotics. Are you guys into the robotic program like other schools at Castle?
Yes, we do have a robotics plan, but a robotics club. I'm not too sure how that affected them, but I think Mr. Mori might know.
Hi, Renee Omori, Student Activities Coordinator at Castle High School. So we do have a STEM program. That's all the robotics kind of thing. They have, they've actually competed nationally. As for cafeteria for the food, I believe they saved everything. I want to say in the freezer, everything was good, but they had to throw out some stuff that was in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one more question. That's it.
Sakamoto.
Regarding homeless students, do you see a number of them at the Castle High School who don't have addresses, but they still go to Castle as a homeless individual child?
The kids, like, they don't know that we have the MV1 forms and everything that they fill out. So we do have some. We also have kind of, we call it like an angel account. So we do help. So I know that we have a couple of people who do donations into that account to help out any of those homeless or houseless people that, students. We've had one, I know that we paid for her prom bid and a dress and shoes, and she got to go to prom, you know, that kind of thing. So we do have that in place, but I know we're always looking for accepting those donations to help those students.
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Great questions. Moving on to board briefs and discussion, we have a brief from Department of Transportation from about Kāneʻohe Road. For those of you who drive past it every day, you can see that the actual road to the church and the golf course is open. And it looks like the H3 on-ramp is very close to getting paved. Is there anyone here online or in person to give that report? Okay, moving on to City and County of Honolulu GROW program. Amber?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't Amber. This is Julie. I work with Amber. Just one moment. Let me share my screen. Okay, good evening, Chair and members of the board and community. I'm Julie Liano, and I am the Acting Recycling Branch Chief with the City and County of Honolulu Refuse Division Recycling Branch. I'm presenting today on the Green Recycling Organic Waste, or GROW program, upcoming changes to the city's residential curbside collection system, and how these changes will help us divert more waste from our landfill through composting. Just some facts. Oahu households generate approximately 60,000 tons of residential food waste every year. And composting is a more sustainable option than landfilling because it allows organic materials to break down naturally and be transformed into nutrient-rich compost. Expanding composting efforts will also help the city move towards its sustainability goal of achieving 95% landfill diversion by 2030. So what exactly is changing? The biggest change is that residents will now be able to place food scraps and wasted food directly into their green compost carts, along with their existing green waste. The city launched a pilot on April 1st, 2026 for households in Waipahu, Nanakuli, Hawaii Kai, Mililani, Kailua, and Kalihi that currently receive automated curbside collection service. Following the pilot, the GROW program will expand island-wide beginning October 1st, 2026. What can go in the green compost carts? In addition to the green waste, residents can place a wide variety of food scraps and wasted food into their carts. These include fruits, vegetables, dairy products such as cheese and yogurt, so solids and semi-solids at room temperature, bread, baked goods, pasta, rice, grain, cereal, beans, nuts, seeds. Residents can also compost meat, seafood, poultry, and even bones, including fish and chicken bones. You can also include eggshells, nuts, seafood shells, leftovers, spoiled foods, table scraps, plate scrapings, loose coffee grounds, and tea leaves or grounds. And on the right, green waste that is already accepted can still be placed in the carts. These include grass clippings, leaves, branches, hedge trimmings, palm fronds, and natural Christmas trees. It's also important to understand what cannot go in the green compost carts. Such items include liquids, paper products, plastics, metals, glass, fats, oils, and grease. Residents should also avoid placing compostable or biodegradable products in the carts if they are labeled, even if they are labeled compostable. These manufactured compostable materials, or MCM as we kind of call it, are not accepted in the city's composting program at this time due to concerns with PFAS, which is the forever chemicals. Other prohibited items include pet waste, coffee cups, takeout containers, pizza boxes, fast food packaging, forks, dirt, rocks, bricks, and plant pots. Keeping these materials out of the compost stream is important because contamination can affect the composting process and the quality of the final product. So how can residents participate? You can collect food scraps and wasted food in your kitchen using a sealed container. You can use a kitchen pail or collection pail, reusable bag or resealable storage bag, or you can even repurpose a container with a lid, such as a yogurt tub or maybe a peanut butter jar. To reduce odors, residents may want to freeze food scraps until the night before or morning of collection day. Sprinkling baking soda or coffee grounds on a material can also help control odors. When it's time for your collection day, simply place food scraps and wasted foods loosely into your green compost carts. Collection will remain on the same bi-weekly schedule residents already use today, so there will be no changes to the collection days and no increase in traffic from collection vehicles. Please remember, and this is what we stress, not to place food scraps in paper bags, plastic bags, or liners. The material should go directly into the carts. Another question we often receive is whether residents can drop off food scraps themselves, and the answer is yes. All residents can self-drop off food scraps, wasted foods, and green waste at the Hawaiian Earth Recycling Composting Facility in Wahiawa. Address is given on the screen. That's our location. Self-drop-off will be free of charge for residents, although commercial vehicles are not permitted. The facility will accept up to 2 self-drop-off loads per day. It's also important to note that city transfer stations and convenience centers will continue to accept green waste, but they will not accept food scraps or wasted food. What happens after the material is collected? Food scraps and green waste are transported to the Hawaiian Earth Recycling Composting Facility, where specialized composting processes break down the organic materials into compost. The facility is coconut rhinoceros beetle, or CRB, trained by the USDA to process host materials safely and effectively. The finished compost is then sold and used by homeowners, landscapers, farmers, and other agricultural users. As the pilot continues, the city's recycling branch is collecting information such as participation rates and contamination levels. This data will help guide future improvements as the program expands across the island. We also have education and outreach for the GROW program. This includes the ENV GROW webpage, which has links to our FAQs and brochures and fact sheets. We also have public workshops and social media posts on various platforms. The resources are available to help residents understand the program and participate successfully. This GROW program represents an important step towards reducing waste, increasing composting, and creating a more sustainable future for Oahu. By simply placing food scraps and wasted food into green compost carts, residents can help divert thousands and tons of materials from the landfill each year and contribute to the city's long-term environmental goals. Thank you for your attention. Happy to answer any questions. Mahalo.
Mahalo for that presentation. Are there any questions for the presenter? Dale? Then Lamb.
Thank you, John. Dale Carstensen. Two questions. Number one, is there going to be an official mailer that goes out to the community members so that they know that this is coming in the timeline?
I would have to discuss that with the office. We'll get back to you and share with the answers on that.
I think it's important if I could just add this comment. I'm concerned, obviously, we're hot, humid, et cetera, and it doesn't take long for things to get very smelly very quickly, as we've learned. And, you know, in the future, we might want to consider and remember that the bins are actually the property of the city and county of Honolulu. And at what point are they responsible for cleaning the bins and not the homeowner itself? So just something else to think about.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
Vice Chair.
Yeah, Adriel Lamb, Subdistrict 11. Love the program. Love to see that we got food waste. I'm looking at food waste and make sure that's managed in the waste stream. But it just, I like to know how the pilot program went and what's your lesson learned from that. Because I think, you know, this puts a, if you have to freeze your food for 2 weeks at a time, I think that puts a burden on the residents, and not many people are less inclined to participate. But if there's a way to be able to remove your food waste at least twice or 2 times a week or more often, and are you going to allow commercial vendors to pick up food waste and take it to, because I'm not going to drive to Wahiawa to get rid of my food waste. Are you going to allow other intermediaries to pick up the food waste more often and participate in the program? Thanks.
Yes, understood. So it is, you know, that's why we do have the best practices on how to actually, you know, freeze it overnight. I understand that, you know, it might be limitations with regards to like storing it in your fridge. But that's why we do kind of educate on the best practices. As far as the pilot program, it's still ongoing. So, you know, when we have information or able to kind of digest information, we can go ahead and share that. And as far as the intermediary, right now, you know, this is for the city collection. It's going island-wide October 1st. I could check back with the office regarding that.
Sakamoto.
Thank you for your presentation, Don Sakmo, at-large member. Blind individual, make sure that if you do send mail outs that they have accessible for persons who are blind to understand what is coming in through mail. Also on Title VI of the language, there should be different languages for people if they request for information about this program. And I had a priest at St. Anne's, his name was Clarence Guerrero. He went to St. Patrick's and he had these worms that he put his compost things inside, you know, like fruits and stuff like that, even paper, and they make compost. Is there any program that the city is planning to do to give people who request some worms so they can start their own thing and get their own compost in their yard?
Oh, thank you for your question. There are, or the city does not have a program for the vermiculture, I believe it's called, but there are resources out there, and we could provide that to Chair as well. There's workshops. I think they're tied to UH, and our employees, they've gone to workshops as well just to learn that. But in the future, the city is doing research and trying to see what other composting, backyard, like home type composting is out there, including worm vermiculture.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you for your presentation.
Mahalo.
Sure. Hold on, one more question.
Oh, okay.
I'm not so worried about the smell, but I live in Kāneʻohe. I'm worried about rats. And I mean, other than freezing and not putting out the night before, that's why most compost piles, you don't put meat or fats or processed grains. So I'm just, Kāneʻohe, I mean, our stories are about rats. Iole ka'a, right? Rolling Rat Mountain over that way. So I'm just wondering about like concerns with that, and not even my own rats, but now my neighbor's gonna have rats too. And then my dog's gonna like be barking at the rats, so.
Yeah, thank you for your comment. We're finding as well that if you were able to layer your food waste with your green waste and bury it well enough so that it can contain odors, and most especially like if you keep your lid closed, other than freezing it overnight and putting it in the morning of. So those are like best practices that can reduce that as well.
Okay, Julie, thank you for your presentation. I'm pretty sure that you have a pilot program going, and you're probably considering some of the things that people have brought up here. If you're trying to create something that's going to be useful to all of the residents and useful to the environment, probably making it easier to do is going to be a big boon for your program. So thank you for your presentation, and I hope you heard some of the things that we're talking about here.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving on to Department of Land and Natural Resources, we're going to talk about Hawaii Loa property acquisition update.
Is this a standing only situation? No, I'm going to just set some stuff down. Aloha, Ryan Kāneʻohe, Department of Land and Natural Resources. With me, we have Special Assistant to the Chair, Luke Sarvis, as well as Ron Sato for Bowers and Kubota, our consultant on the acquisition. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Kāneʻohe again, Chair for Board of Land and Natural Resources. This is a status update. I'm not sure how many of the members on the board were here the last year for the status update from Chair Chang, but I just wanted to provide an update for this board since we're a year plus into the acquisition process. At the time, DLNR, we were describing a fairly ambitious vision for this property out at Hawaii Loa, the former Hawaii Loa campus for Hawaii Pacific University in near the intersection of Kamehameha and Kāneʻohe highways. We were looking at this 132 acre plus acquisition, not just as another like government office complex, but as a full service conservation complex, conservation campus for Department of Land and Natural Resources. That was the vision of Chair Chang at the time, and that is continuing on during this current administration. So a little bit about why we kind of need to pursue this acquisition. So at the Department of Land and Natural Resources, we have a significant facilities lack on Oahu.
That was presented.
Yeah, good. So several of our divisions have outgrown their spaces. Some of our staff are working out of storage containers. Some of our staff are working out of temporary modulars. Some of our staff are kind of co-work spacing, sharing these kind of tables right here as their work facilities. It's just congested overall. And on top of that, we have a deadline driving the acquisition. So our Division of Forestry and Wildlife and our Division of Conservation and Resource Enforcement, our DOCARE officers, as well as our partners for Ko'olau Mountain Watershed Partnership, they have operations in Waimano out in Pro City, and they have to move out by the end of 2029. At Waimano, Department of Health is going to be taking over the entire campus out there, and they'll be expanding their services out there, part of their move out from the Punch Bowl facility to Pearl City. So we've been looking at other facilities. Expanding at Makiki and Kawainui is not suitable, just constraints space-wise as well as environmental-wise. So that's why we're looking at Hawaii Pacific University now. As far as the update, so existing academic center, we'd be, thanks, Ron. So this is our layout now. There's a little bit of changes post planning. So the academic center right here, that would become the main building for a lab, office, and meeting space. The dormitory buildings situated here in this white, that would be renovated and retained for temporary housing. One of the major uses, and I think this was presented before, would be for Doe Care Academy. That's a 9-month training program. And it would be, allow us to house our recruits on site. In addition to that, the dorms would also be used to support other agency trainings as well as Neighbor Island staff and visiting personnel. We also identified a significant amount of need for storage. So currently, the existing buildings, they provide about 120,000 square feet of floor area that can be renovated. But our current programming needs requires an additional 49,000 square feet. So that's in these kind of brown orange areas. So that would house our field equipment, our boats, jet skis, vehicles, other matters to support our operations. The conceptual plan includes all these new storage houses as well as shade houses for nursery for our forestry and wildlife. So in total, the support for operations at DLNR would be for our forestry and wildlife division, our conservation and resource enforcement division, historic preservation, aquatic resources, our state parks division, as well as our boating and ocean recreation division. On top of that, we'd be bringing on our Po'olau Mountain Watershed Partnership partners, as well as the Oahu Invasive Species Committee. And then on this lower section here, on the plan, that's where we would site the Honolulu EMS substation. EMS substation. The current plan would also allow for continuing use for both the softball field as well as the soccer fields. For that, we'd probably have to partner with nonprofit organizations similar to what we're doing at Sand Island. The tennis courts here, it's a little different. Our staff assessment is that they're currently non-functional and it wouldn't be cost effective to rehabilitate those tennis courts. So we're probably going to have to repurpose them. There's a few ideas that we're toying with right now, potentially for shade houses, otherwise for storage for our Doe Care facilities. So let's see. Since the last presentation, a lot of the work that we've done is due diligence. Go ahead.
We're just repurposing your tennis court.
Oh, yes. The tennis courts, they're basically the cost to repair the tennis courts. Yeah, they are concrete pads. So with a lead-in with a driveway. So that's where we'll probably have to
Helping to repurpose them. That was that
we're
discussion.
open to ideas as well. Yeah. So as far as due diligence goes, we've been identifying a lot of deferred maintenance. There's going to be a lot of roof work that's being done because it's the windward side and a lot of rain. And those buildings have not been used for quite some time at this point. As well as addressing our ADA requirements and other building improvements. As far as our Kapakaya analysis regarding traditional and customary use, we have prior records for cultural impact assessments for the proposed uses of the property previously. They did not identify significant cultural resource concerns. There are some things that we will keep undisturbed as I think this area bifurcates the Kāneʻohe and Kailua Ahupua'a. So that's going to remain undisturbed. In addition to that, we're looking at drainage issues. There's a drainage way that runs throughout the campus on the bottom side, right here. So that's going to be left fairly undisturbed. Those are the fields, and they're going to be kept as fields for, in event of high rain events. In addition to that, we're also looking at the traffic issues. So my wife attended HPU when it was still operating, and so I remember taking that left turn out onto the highway. It's a very hard left. So we're doing traffic studies for that as well. And then in addition to that, there's going to be an environmental assessment moving forward. Our current schedule for our draft environmental assessment is going to be around October. And then the final environmental review, we're anticipating in early spring of 2027. On the acquisition itself, we're working with the current landowner, Adventist Health, on the purchase and sale agreement. The target to get the acquisition for approval before Board of Land and Natural Resources, we're looking at spring of 2027. 2027, so the next year. Post-acquisition, we will also have to, because we're going to be doing improvements to the property, submit a conservation district use application before the Board of Land and Natural Resources. After that, implementation would occur in phases. We're looking at a 10-year development program. The future programs is all dependent on funding from the legislature. This immediate year, we're going to be looking at additional funds to complete the financing stack to do that, to complete the acquisition, as well as get us through phase one, which would be getting enough of the campus renovated and operational so that we can meet our 2029 deadline to exit Waimano. Other than that, I yield the floor to the board for questions.
Any questions from the board? Sakamoto, Vice Chair.
Yes, thank you for your presentation, Donald Sakamoto. The properties that you folks are going to be moving from, is that state-owned or is that private-owned properties?
The Waimano campus is state-owned. However, it is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Health. So we actually have a lease with them that terminates on 2029.
Okay, and then if you do get money, I don't know how we're going to get it from the legislature. Are we going to float bonds and pay interest? What is your amount of money you think this is going to cost roughly?
So currently we have appropriated $18 million to do the acquisition. However, initial appraisals have come out to about $21 million, or the purchase price is about $21 million. So we need to obtain a difference of $3 million. On top of the acquisition costs, we will be asking for phase one costs. So our goal is to this year to obtain $30 million in CIP coming from the legislature to get us through the acquisition as well as phase one.
Okay, and how many people work for you folks in the division?
So this campus is actually going to have about 250 personnel. Total amount within the department statewide is 1,100.
And what are you going to do with the auditorium?
Sorry.
Is there an auditorium over there or?
So the auditorium space, I think yes. So the auditorium space, we're going to be, Ron, you can take it up.
Ron Soto with Bars Kubota. So yeah, the auditorium's in the academic center. So it's going to get renovated to support agencies with offices, basically. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair.
Yeah, Adriel Lamb, subject to District 11. Thanks for the brief. It's really good. I guess I've got two parts of the questions. One first is thanks for the briefing on what you're doing with the facilities, but you're going to take ownership of the entire property, so everything up into the tree lines and all that. I don't know what goes on in there. I think I've heard about a lot of homeless that have their camps up there or something. Are you managing control of that area too, or take responsibility for that?
Yes. So the 132 acre property will be, turn around. Thank you. So this entire property, this parcel will be under our jurisdiction post acquisition, and we would have to take care of all those issues as well. Because this is actually conservation district, there is limits to how much we can develop on the property. We're trying to minimize development as much as possible and go with the current footprint that was left behind by Hawaii Pacific University.
Okay. And thanks. You mentioned 250 personnel coming over here. My question's kind of on lines of economic impact. It's probably a good brief for the county business group if you're available for that. But where are you gonna have your lunch? Kailua or Kāneʻohe?
We are renovating the kitchen facilities, but we want to open that up to our community partners as well. As far as lunch goes, I don't know which one is closer. Kāneʻohe, I think, yeah, down right over here.
Are there any historic sites on the property?
Yeah, we had our consultant take a look for archaeology, and there's no historic sites on the property.
And I love the idea that there's going to be some education that's going to be happening there. So maybe the auditorium stays the way it is and just gets enhanced for those folks that are going to be living on site and training there. Anything to keep it educational, I think will be a big help.
Yeah, we actually want to open up space for the community as well on the campus itself. Provide those meeting spaces for our community partners.
Thank you for coming to the board and presenting. Dobar falls under you guys, don't they?
Right.
Are you just, this is unrelated, but are you aware that Ahualaka has issues concerning over commercialization and lack of enforcement?
Yes, and I believe one of our representatives was there at the time, I think from department or from our Division of Aquatic Resources. And so we're looking at that as far as a regulatory overlay. That is a jurisdictional issue that we're working out with, because apparently our forestry and wildlife has an overlay on that item as well. So we're working with DoCare as well as our Division of Aquatic Resources and DOBOR to get a handle on the situation out there.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Once again, Robert Harder. Question is, you mentioned a number of vehicles and boats and things of that sort there. So is there going to be a motor pool and above ground storage tanks for fuel, and how big would that be?
I think those will probably need for storage tank for emergency purposes for the academic center, because they need to make sure they have power, because they have sensitive research and endangered species they're working with, so they can't let the power be gone for a while. So, but aside from that, there's no a lot of storage tank things planned right now. It's more down just for a backup generator for the academic center.
So not the refueling of vehicles that are out there to respond or things of that sort.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
One more question?
Go ahead, Brett.
Just real quick, because when we were going through the acquisition for this property, for the money, a lot was said about having the public come in for recreational activity, and that we kind of promised the pickleballers that they'd have those tennis courts for pickleball, and I think they're going to be pretty pissed if they're turned into greenhouses instead. So I know they're in bad condition. We do have a concrete pad. Is there possible to work with city and county to have them turn that location into a pickleball court again? Because I think there was a whole plan and that was kind of promised to them.
We'd have to look at the pricing on that, but I mean, contingent on getting those funds from either the legislature or the county, we can probably look at that. The issue that we have now currently is the placement of it. So it's a little set back from the where like the public area is. Here is where the working campus would be. Placement is a little issue. Also, this entire section right here is basically a flood basin or a drainage basin. So this, even including this area, would get hit with some incursion of flooding.
I mean, pickleballers are crazy enough to play in the rain and the flood too, but I think they'd be okay with just playing when it's not flooded too. I don't know, seems workable. I just don't want to go back on one of our promises to them.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's it. Anything online? Chair, appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Hi, sorry. Is it possible to do one more quick presentation?
Sorry?
One quick announcement for a run happening in October.
Is this a presentation or a question?
I believe it's the presentation. I just wanted to announce we're going to have a half marathon in October. I'm not sure if I'm at the right point here.
Okay, this isn't the right spot for that.
Sorry
But,
about that.
Thank
I'll
you.
come back later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here from Senator Awa's team? Anybody online? Okay. Moving into resident community concerns, Vice Chair, I'd like for you to manage this for a second. I've got to run and catch the chair of DLNR for just a second.
All right, this is time for resident community concerns. If anyone has any concerns, please push the mic. That time for him to.
Hi, everyone. This is Lisa Wisato from Windward Neighborhood Security Watch Coordinators Group. And I just wanted to let everybody know that on September 4th at Windward Mall, at the intersection of Haiku Road and Kamehameha Highway, there will be a sign waving event called Under 21 O'ole Alcohol. So no alcohol for those under the age of 21. And check-in will be at 3:15 to 3:45 p.m. near the Malasada truck and bus stop. And sign waving will start at 4 p.m. and end at 6 p.m. And also my flyer has a QR code. And it's recommended that persons interested in the sign waving event register by 5 p.m. Wednesday, September 2nd. So I'll leave this flyer at the desk. Also, it will be an excellent event for the high school seniors or younger. They will earn 2 hours of community service. We will be participating in the Kailua Emergency Preparedness Fair event at Kailua Town Center on September 12th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if anyone is interested in coming out and attending the event, it will be a good opportunity to do so. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? No? Is there another person online like to? Oh, okay, Donald?
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Donald here, Sakuma, at-large member. A couple of meetings ago, I asked you about how's your volunteers. Has it grown since then? Since I asked you how was it? Have you got more people to help you?
Yes, so we are working on increasing the numbers for the coordinators, for the neighborhood watch groups. And our next meeting will be October. So I will send out the information. And and everybody, continue to look at the honolulupd.org website, which is HPD's site. And they have a wealth of information on there, including the crime mapping and yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for your question.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay, any other community concerns? And since we're making announcements, the person online that was going to talk about the marathon or the half marathon, are you still here?
Hi, sorry, I'm still here. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about earlier.
Well, it's usually the announcements are at the end of the agenda.
I do
But
see that now.
since
Yeah.
we're taking announcements right now, how long is your announcement?
It's very short,
Okay,
just
off
a
you go.
minute. Hi, my name is Ty Bleck. We're with Shaka Racing and Mid Pacific Road Runners Club. We're putting on a half marathon on October 4th. Majority of it's in Kailua, but it does overlap a little bit of Kāneʻohe. Basically, we start really early in the morning at 5:30 in Kailua Beach Park. They run down Kalaheo Avenue, and then they make a left up Mokapu. We do have to go on a side street, so they're not really going through that big intersection there. They go up Mokapu, up the hill, head right. They make a right turn on Kaneohe Bay Drive and go around Kaneohe Bay Drive and head back down Kalaheo. We don't have any road closures, so you're not going to have much of an impact at all. They run on the side of the road. We have GP roadways who cones just a few feet inside the edge of Kaneohe Bay Drive. And for the rest of it, they're on the shoulder. And of course, we have HPD out there and everything as well. So very minimal impact. It does start at 5:30 in the morning. So most of the runners are off the road before anybody's even really noticing they're there.
Thank you. Any questions?
Okay.
What's that? To join? Oh, there's a question. Who do we contact if we want to participate?
Sure. The website is Shaka Racing Hawaii, all spelled out. And it's the Kailua Half Marathon. It's sponsored by Uloha. And we do have a 5K as well, which runs just around Kailua Beach Park in Lanikai, but Shaka Racing Hawaii.
Mahalo.
Yeah,
Any
thank
other
you so much for your
community
time.
concerns? Any other resident community concerns? Abe, I'm just going to read that one that you sent me. Okay, well, you have it?
Talking about the, Keahala.
Yeah, I don't have any solutions for this, so we should just read the complaint and that way it's in the record.
Okay, this was an email received in the Kāneʻohe Neighborhood Board inbox. The subject is deplorable Keahala Road. I'm a Kāneʻohe resident for the past 24 years. In all that time, Keahala Road from Kahikili, Makai to Kāneʻohe Playground Park has never been resurfaced. Cars drive in the middle of the road or zigzag to avoid the 100 potholes patches, which reappear after heavy rains, only to be terribly repatched again and again. Mothers with baby strollers are on the roadway because of sidewalks are dangerous, dilapidated, and broken up, not to mention damage to vehicles. Does our grossly overpaid councilwoman, Kia Aina, ever use this major roadway, or maybe she lives in an area with a good road? Are there any plans to attend to this blight and seriously dangerous issue? When will it be fully resurfaced and improved? All for your consideration.
Thank you. Can we narrow down that road? Did that describe the location well enough?
Yeah, Keahala from Kaikili to the Kāneʻohe Playground.
Okay. I guess the best thing to do is take a look at the complete streets to see if that's scheduled for any sort of. Esther Zahn, you can. Okay, thanks. I didn't see that. I wouldn't have read that. That's okay. All right, okay, moving along. Any other resident community concerns? None. Okay, next up is elected officials. We have a new representative for Jill Takuta's office, McKenna. Here, online.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you, board and chair. I am the new constituent advocate staff assistant for Rep. Takuta. We'll be joining you in your meetings going forward. I just have a few highlights from this month's report. Last month, the Congresswoman introduced 2 bipartisan bills to address gaps in national rural health infrastructure. One being the Rural Hospital Security Enhancement Act, which requires the federal government to develop a plan for training rural hospital staff in fundamental cybersecurity practices. And then the second one is the reimbursing emergency services for critical urgent care, or the Rescue Act, which ensures Medicare payments for air and ground medical services reflect actual cost. And then lastly is also healthcare related. Congresswoman led a bipartisan letter signed by more than 60 of her colleagues, urging centers for Medicare and Medicaid services to improve reimbursement rates for telehealth visits. And then the last thing I want to add is that Military Service Academy nomination applications are open. So that's for any student that wants to apply to military service academies. They will need a congressional nomination for that appointment. And further information about that is in the chat. You can also visit our website online to apply for that, and applications are open through October 18th. And that is all I have. Are there any questions?
The questions follow Councilmember Kia Aina. So we'll go through Rep. Takuta, Governor Green, Mayor Blangiardi, Councilmember Kia Aina, then there's a Q&A. So next up is Governor Green's representative. Aloha, Diane.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to start with a mention of Governor Green's monthly newsletter. You can read the latest edition, or you could also sign up at governor.hawaii.gov/newsletter. Some follow-up questions from last time. Board member Donald Sakamoto asked what the state is doing to eliminate overcrowding at the state hospital and stop abuse of employees. This is what the DOH says. The Hawaii State Hospital says it has been increasing efforts to care for patients in the most appropriate setting, appropriate discharges to group homes, returning patients who have been restored to fitness to the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and compassionately placing frail and elderly patients in skilled nursing and long-term care facilities help reduce the hospital's average daily census. The safety of patients and staff is a top priority. HSH continues to evaluate and strengthen its safety practices, staff training, and incident response procedures. HSH has expanded staff training in nonviolent crisis intervention techniques to help de-escalate situations before they become assaultive. Item number 3. Board member Donald Sakamoto asked, why is the state levying such a high tax on electric vehicles? State Department of Transportation says, quote, the comments by Donald Sakamoto regarding a tax increase for electric vehicles are in reference to proposed legislation by Congress to establish a new federal registration fee for electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles to help support the Federal Highway Trust Fund. The proposed fee is part of the draft reauthorization bill, H.R. 8870, Build America 250 Act, specifically Section 1129. There's a link to the Build America 250 Act, which I've given over to the board to post on its blog, as well as a link to Section 1129, registration fee on motor vehicles. And then some summaries about the reauthorization bill, Section 1129. It establishes a new annual federal registration fee for electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles to support the Highway Trust Fund. The provision requires states to collect an annual fee of $130 for electric vehicles, and 35 for plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. The years 2030 and 2045 are tied to the fee escalation schedule established in Section 1129. Beginning in 2029, the fee increases by $5 every 2 years until it reaches the statutory maximums of $150 for EVs, $50 for PHEVs, that's plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. States are responsible for collecting and remitting the fees. Failure to comply may result in the Federal Highway Administration withholding withholding 125% of the amount owed from the state's federal highway apportionment. The intent of the provision is to ensure owners of vehicles that pay little or no federal motor tax will contribute toward the maintenance and improvement of the nation's transportation infrastructure. U.S. House of Representatives introduced that bill May 19, 2026. The House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee advanced it. It awaits consideration and passage by the full House of Representatives and Senate before it can be sent to the President. And separate from the proposed federal EV registration fee, in 2023, the Hawaii State Legislature passed legislation, Act 222, to implement the State Road Usage Chart, RUC program, starting with electric vehicles. As of July 1st, 2025, Hawaii DOT implemented the Hawaii Road Usage Charge, or high RUC, I guess, for light-duty passenger EVs. And under this program, EV owners can pay a state per mile road usage charge of $8 per $1,000, capped at $50, or a flat annual state road usage charge of $50. Both options replace the state $50 EV registration surcharge. Beginning July 1st, 2028, all EV drivers will automatically be enrolled in the state per mile RUC. The option of the state flat annual RUC of $50 will be removed. Act 222 also directed HDOT to develop a long-term transition plan to transition all light-duty vehicles to RUC by 2033. That plan includes findings, recommendations, implementation phase schedules, and proposed legislation for the deployment of a state mileage-based road usage charge program to encompass all passenger vehicles and light-duty trucks by December 31st, 2033. As more drivers in Hawaii choose more fuel-efficient hybrid or all-electric vehicles, revenues from motor fuel taxes and other vehicle registration fees have declined, resulting in less funding to maintain our roads, bridges, and infrastructure. The Hawaii Road Usage Charge is a step to ensure long-term sustainable funding for transportation. Instead of paying based on what type of car you drive, a road usage charge means vehicle owners pay for only how much they actually drive. For more information about this high RUC program, including a calculator to estimate potential RUC charges, go to www.hiruc.org. Item number 4, Board Member Adriel Lamb asked for information about how he can get involved with the UH Civics Grant. And I'm just going to say for the record that I, the governor's representative, connected him to the professors who wrote the grant, just to kind of close the loop on that for the record. And I threw this in, item number 5, thinking I would be helpful, but I think it's really not that helpful, but I'll read it. Kona Low Disaster Relief Requests. Hawaii Department of Tax reminds taxpayers affected by the March 2026 Kona Low storm that the August 20, 2026 deadline to request a waiver of penalties and interest for late filing or payment of income taxes for the affected period of April 20 through August 2026 is approaching. The IRS had extended certain federal tax deadlines. But you know what? You have to file electronically up till 11:59 p.m. So, because the post offices are closed. So I don't know how helpful this is, but that's like a 3-hour reminder. That is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Blangiardi's representative. Hi, Andy.
Chair Radke, Kāneʻohe Board, committee members, chair members, Andy Kawano, Director of Budget and Fiscal Services. With regard to, I guess the first item, the recent storms, Lala first, we just finished collecting damage assessments through our Department of Emergency Management. So a report should be coming out soon from them as to damages reported. For the city, the rough estimate of damages to city property, mostly roads and bridges, was about just under $20 million. So we're going to work on that through HIEMA and then see where we go from there. But we're going to continue to fine tune those estimates as we go forward. There was another storm coming towards us from the same southeast origination with regard to the islands. That was Moke, but that one's fizzling out. It's going further south. We were starting to gear up for emergency operations again, but we called it off today. There's one more storm system possibly forming southeast of the islands that we're watching. So there's stuff going on. So what we recommend is that the community all get on HNL alert. And what we learned is that our utility systems and communication systems on the island are not the best. Lot of Hawaii Kai lost cell service, for instance, for a long period of time. So we're recommending that everyone get radios, battery-powered radios, to be able to tap into communication. So that should be important going forward. Coming up, I've mentioned before, September 30, homeowners, if you don't have your home exemption, your filing for claim of exemption is due on September 30. Also for the lower income folks, there's the real property tax credit program for homeowners where the title owners have income, gross income of $80,000 or less, can file for relief through the real property tax credit program. And that's due on September 30 as well. You can go to the honolulu.gov Budget and Fiscal Services landing page to get, the forms and information on filling out the forms if you're interested. From last meeting, there were two issues that were brought up. One on the storage facility nearby the police station. Just wanted to ask, is that done? Is that one done? Still, are they still blocking the roads?
It's not as bad as it was.
Okay.
But they still block occasionally.
Okay. I think so there's two permits we found out. One was a street usage permit issued by the Department of Transportation Services. That permit was only for staging for concrete and lateral work and not for general staging throughout the day. So if they're still blocking the road for general staging, call in to DTS, let them know, and they'll send their inspectors back out to talk to them. So that one's that. And then there's the building permit, and that one does not control what they do on the roads. It's essentially a permit to allow them to show compliance with building and zoning standards. So they don't control what they do on the road there. And the second item was I was asked by I don't have the name documented, but the budget for the Department of Emergency Management for FY27, the budget is I'm sorry. It was the budget Oahu TAT amount of revenue for FY27. And the budgeted revenue amount estimate was $106,674,000. Half of that goes to rail construction and the other half stays, in the general fund for government services. So with that, I'll take questions after Esther Kiaino.
Mahalo. Next up is Councilmember Esther Kiaina.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'm Irene Limos, and I work for Councilmember Esther Kiaina. The councilmember is unable to be here tonight, so I will be providing the report. So to begin, the councilmember would like to thank everyone who attended the Windward Wildfire Preparedness Town Hall last Thursday, August 13th. We appreciate everyone who attended and asked questions to learn more about how we can better prepare our Windward communities for wildfire risks. Second, following the recent storm, the city is encouraging residents to self-report any damage to their homes. These reports will help the Department of Planning and Permitting assess and document storm impacts. Residents who are unable to submit a report online may email their property address and tax map key directly to DPP. Please note that submitting a damage report is not an application for disaster relief or services, so I will be providing additional information in the chat box. And then third, an update on the Ho'omaluhia Botanical Gardens Master Plan. On August 5th, the council member joined dozens of community members, the city's Department of Parks and Recreation staff, botanical garden staff, and their consultants for a presentation of the near final plan for Ho'omaluhia Botanical Gardens. The plan incorporates community and visitor feedback and includes proposed improvements to the garden entrance facilities, interactive features, and community gathering areas. The final master plan is expected this fall, and the presentation and contact information will be provided in the chat. And then finally, our land conservation workshop has been rescheduled to Tuesday, September 29th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at Windward Community College, Hale'akoakoa. The original August 17th workshop was canceled because of the storm, and we appreciate everyone's understanding. And that concludes my report. So thank you, everyone.
Mahalo for all the reports. Now it's time for Q&A for those groups. Are there questions and responses? No, listen, Sakamoto, you go first, and then you go first.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you all for the reports. The first one is for our new person from represent Joe Takura. Yeah, McKenna. Yeah, McKenna, thank you for coming. I'd like to work with you on certain items. I've been attending meetings for the Section 8 for the Hawaii Housing Authority Board of Directors meeting on July 16th. I sent an email out to everybody at the legislature, governor, etc. And there's concerns about fraud. And there was a person that testified at the meeting. Her name is Lori Thorson. And she had 5 fraud segments that she had to say what was going on. With the President Trump administration, they're cracking down on Medicaid in different states as well as misuse of funding. What is Congress going to be doing about that to make sure that the funding goes to people like myself who are disabled, veterans, homeless, people who can't afford housing? Because I went to the June 29th Town Hall Kailo meeting for the state. And basically, I made that comment, and 2 people after the meeting said, great question. So I'm worried about our funding for the people of Hawaii, as well as nationwide, where the funding goes, where's accountability when the government gives it to the states or the counties, so that we have a record where it was spent and liability and whatnot. Can you relay that to Congresswoman Dakota for me?
Yes, of course. That's, yeah, great point.
Thank you. And then for Diana Cole, Governor, you know, there's also this subject that I read in the paper, Star Advertiser. There's a shortage of doctors. You know, my doctor retired at age 78. That's primary doctor. I had to look for a new doctor. It's very challenging for myself and others. What can the governor do to, as a doctor now, Governor Green, to make sure that we have doctors to replace these aging doctors or people who retire and leave the state? I don't want to be, and others looking for a doctor for medical. And my concern, Diane, is a resident told me that the H3 viaduct on the windward side, there's graffiti underneath the columns, underneath the pillars. I don't know how these guys get up there and paint it, but it looks terrible. We shouldn't have graffiti on these highways. This is a federal highway, and it's with federal money and state money. And I was there when the H2 was built. People who worked there on that construction died. And it's a disgrace to have graffiti all over the place. It's terrible. So if there can be something with the Department of Transportation to do something about that, I really appreciate. And again, then I appreciate Governor Green does, but also be careful about what's going on with our government with, you know, things going on with briberies and everything. I hope Attorney General will check into it, and we can get as a member of the elections county of elections accessibility needs committee for the Bay people vote for Mayor Berlangiati. I'd like to see the elections commission brought back. So the meeting has not been brought back since June, since Chair Mike Curtis left, and they want to get back so they can check how our elections did for the primary, what to expect for the general. Very important because they oversee for us, the public, of Scott Nago and what the counties are doing. So we have to see comparison to what was going on with the elections. I attend the meetings. It's a long meeting sometimes, but I think the commission needs to come back and elect a chair to continue on where it was enacted by the legislature. And for Andy, thank you for your response with the storage, but I hate to see anything happen to our storage places, any more building on the corridor of Kaneʻohe. I'm very disappointed that it was put up together. There was no briefing, no input from the public, how the parking and everything was done. And I don't want it like Kailo where they have big buildings and, it's not kind. We are country, keep it country. They should have been built someplace else. But Kāneʻohe Road is open. I live there, finally, 6 months. But the road, Andy, is deteriorating from my house to the Kolau ballrooms. You paved it in 2023. The overgrown vegetation is coming back if the DFM can go over there. And the road coming down from Kolau ballrooms, the ditch, there's no easement. Cars can go down and it's eroding underneath. So if you can have somebody check that, because I don't want the road wash away for access, that's why. And Esther, Irene, thank you for your report, but I asked about Bill 48, I think 47 and 18. Did you get a response back to me on those bills? I brought it up at the last meeting last month.
So I did ask the council member, however, I think that it would be best that she reported. So I was only supposed to just report what I was told to report, Donald. So so she will, I'm sorry. We could give you a call and let you know.
Yes, and please tell Esther if there's anything, is she the zoning chair for the council?
Yes, she is.
Yeah. If there's anything coming up in our district, can she let the chair know so we can have a briefing about it? Because I don't want any more development brought upon us, sprung on without our feedback. Thank you.
Oh, may I have some clarification on where the viaduct graffiti is?
Yeah, Dan, when you go on the Kaneʻohe side, going to the Harona tunnels, the other level from the Honolulu going to Kaneʻohe is higher, and you can see the graffiti underneath the viaduct. The resident told me it's horrible. I don't know how they do it. It's dangerous over there, but they do it. Yeah.
Oh, would you happen to have a picture of it? Did someone?
Nothing right
Okay.
now. But if you have Deputy Director Robin Shishida, have somebody go out there, they can take a look at it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Chair
Dale?
Karstensen. This is actually for Esther Kiaina. First, I want to thank her for putting on the wildfire town hall meeting that was held last week. I was able to attend. And Chair, I'll give you an update on that afterwards. My question for Esther is just recently, since our last meeting, RES, which stands for the Renewable Energy Zones, has been approved. And Ko'olau-Poko is one of the 2 areas on Oahu that has been identified. My question to Esther is, how will she be involved in working with the community to make sure that it doesn't become a solar panel nightmare, which one of the clean sources is being done? So again, maybe part of that is Andy, but I'd like to direct that to Esther. And Chair, I have the information here for you on that.
Thank you. I will follow up with the council member.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, Diane, for the response on the $1.6 million from the Department of Education for the American History and Civic Education America 250 project. That's very helpful. I was able to link up the professors and also know that the Hawaii America 250 Commission was not aware of the fund. And so I was able to link them up with them this afternoon, but hopefully we can get something more that will be beneficial for our students, even adults, to be more involved with civic education, American history. And that was very helpful to get that linkage. I guess the other comment I had about the EVs was it just feels like we're being nickel and dimed on vehicle ownership, right? So you got the weight tax already, which has an impact on the roads. And now we want to use road usage as an added taxation onto ownership of vehicles. I would ask maybe the legislators to kind of consider this, is that how do you balance that out? Because I mean, a lot of people, I have a large gas vehicle. I pay $1,000 for registration on it. I don't really use it too much, but I get it, right? It's heavy, it has impact on the road. But then EV vehicles are also heavy, and they're paying a little extra on registration. And now you want to tack on more road usage with that too. So maybe a little balance on both usages, as opposed to just thinking about loss of gas tax money. And sorry, one more thing. I guess, I don't know if anyone's complaining about this, but the exit to Kāneʻohe District Park, that exit is horrible. And, you know, especially if people are going to drive up to the ballot box to drop off and they're going to exit there. I think if I wasn't careful, I could have, you know, clipped some, or, you know, ruined my, what you call it, the suspension. It's axle, it's really bad. I think someone should at least do a quick patch on that before we get to November elections. Not just for elections, but people use the Kāneʻohe District Park.
You have one? Laura.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for especially your responses when we do ask questions and coming back with some answers for us. Really appreciate that. So I'm wondering about what Donald was saying about doctors. I've heard that a number of times because I have elderly people that I try to help, and they're always now looking for a new PCP, or the shortage is getting critical. And how can we incentivize? Is it going to have to be something from the government to help supplement so that we can retain doctors, or actually draw them into the state somehow? I mean, it's a beautiful place to live, right? So we're in desperate need, I'd say, at this point. And then Andy with the dump. So is Kailua being kind of in the mix again for potential?
Definitely, yeah. I don't know much more than what has been in the papers, because the mayor has been very open about it as to where we are. So he's having discussions with the owner of that property to determine if it's possible. So there's no aquifer under the quarry, but there's an issue with Act 73, right? You can't build a landfill within a half a mile from a public place or school, so on and so forth. So he's assessing whether or not there's a possibility to repeal Act 73 or to amend it so that, you know, that site can be considered. He has tried since the start of the administration to look at Waipio, working with the Navy, and then Wahiawa. I would have preferred Wahiawa, even though it's above the aquifer. It's 800 feet above the aquifer. They were looking at using a dual line new technology to prevent any kind of leaching or seepage that could go to the aquifer. Then the expansion in terms of where they are in Makahiva Hills, they're running out of options. What we don't want to do is set things up so we have to ship our solid waste out to someplace. That would put a huge burden on the city and, you know, drive operating costs up. So we don't want to go there. So, yeah.
Trade-offs.
So yeah, we're doing the assessment right now, but nothing's final. Yeah.
Okay, and then the Civic Center, I think that's city building next to the police station down on Waikalua Road. Can you tell me what's happening there? I see some like wooden panels up as if they're doing some kind of state building. Okay, so he can
That's
answer
me.
that?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Yes, we are renovating it. Dags is renovating it. I don't have the latest, but I did put out a press release a few months ago, which could be found on ags.gov.
So repurposing it for what type
No,
of use?
just renovating it for the tenants. I think it has DHS tenants in it now.
Got it.
Yeah.
A nursing station, like a non-emergency type?
No, more like social services. I have to find the press release though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, right.
When did I do it? I could
That's
report
okay.
out.
We'll just, when you can find it, go ahead and, if you wouldn't mind re-forwarding it, or I'll dig it out myself and
Yeah,
forward it to the
sure.
rest of the board.
Or
Mahalo.
definitely it's on the DAG's website.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other online questions? Moving into congressional state officials. Senator Keohokalole. Senator Awa. Representative Kitagawa sends her regrets and says Representative Matayoshi will handle everything.
Nice partnership.
Yeah, and Rep Lee is having some internet trouble too because of the power outages and everything. So I'm not, I think he's online, but anyway. Hey, everybody. So I had a pretty short one, but all these things kept coming up that I'll comment on. Spectrum just emailed me. They've got, I know Spectrum kind of went down. They've got free internet hotspots, not just for Spectrum, but for everybody. So I looked at Kāneʻohe. It's mostly at shopping centers, Windward Mall, Kāneʻohe Bay, things like that. But if you don't have internet, you can at least go over there. You don't have to be a Spectrum customer. If you need help logging on, email my office. If you get my newsletter, it's all in there. There's a link that'll explain everything on how to log on for free. If you need help, just give us a call. I've got, the Wilson tunnel lights are out. So if anyone goes over Leaky Leaky, it's kind of scary. You go in there and it's just pitch black. And I've got automatic lights, so it takes like a second before they turn on, and it's scary stuff. It's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. And that same power line that powers those powers a lot of AT&T towers. So if you have AT&T like me, you might notice that your calls are kind of dropping in and out. Right now, that's going to continue for a while, 3 to 4 weeks to get that back up. I'm in touch with AT&T right now for an update. I'll try to get you guys one, the community one, when I get it. But that's kind of what it looks like. But just be very careful when going to those tunnels, especially at night, kind of hazardous conditions. So apologize for that. I'm holding a free legal clinic in conjunction with Young Lawyers Division, which I used to be a part of too when I was young. It's going to be on August 30th, 10 to 2 at Windward Mall. We're right on the second floor, kind of on the target wing. So there's like a wooden floor area over there. We'll be set up over there. But I got a bunch of my lawyer friends to come over. I'll be there too, volunteering. We're actually going to have a free notary there too, from noon to 2. So if anyone needs a document notarized, they can come there, get it done for free. Not the whole time, just the only lawyer who could also notarize things was only available from noon to 2. So if you'd like something done, please come by. I went to the Sandbar meeting too. That was a heck of a meeting. There's some bad stuff going on out there. We brainstormed quite a few potential solutions that we're going to try to implement. One of them is to keep the harbor master on 7 days a week, maybe rotating them. But they've noticed that when the harbor master is present, the illegal boats know not to go out. And as soon as they're gone, they're just going out there and burying people. So I also suggested doing a lower level of offense because they're saying it's too hard to prove the offense that they have right now. So if we have a lower level offense, like a petty misdemeanor, we kind of did this during COVID too, lower standard of proof. Hopefully we'll just start busting guys with a lot of small tickets and then get them to stop, change their behavior for the better. Landfill. So we were talking about this too. The mayor kind of made an off-the-cuff remark about wanting to put it in Kapa'a Quarry. They need to overturn Act 73 though, which we as the state passed. And it's kind of over my dead body that we're going to do that. So we'll see. I don't know why he's pursuing a site that is currently illegal under state law. But there are a lot of other technologies that I think the mayor needs to be looking at. I'll talk to him about it later. But there are technologies. I was approached by a company that looks at the trash we have in the landfill right now as an energy resource. They want to mine the trash out to burn it to create carbon black, which is a commodity that they can sell on the mainland, and it would reduce the volume by like 95%. So they could mine, and it would work at PVT too, so construction waste as well. It could power itself, create a commodity, and reduce the volume so significantly that we could use the same landfill for, I don't know, hopefully for my kid's lifetime. So I'm not sure why we're looking at that. I'm not sure why we're looking at Kapaa Quarry, but we're fighting that tooth and nail if that ever comes to fruition as a potential thing. So I just wanted to show the community, Act 73, the whole Windward Coast is united against making any kind of change to that. So hopefully the mayor gets that message. The Kāneʻohe Civic Center. So that is a state facility. Rep. Kitagawa and I put in about $2 million a couple of years ago to refurbish that facility. The point, you guys remember the KJOC, we had a kind of an urgent care sort of thing for homeless there for a while, also offering social services. The same social services are still going to go into that building. So welfare, food stamps, that kind of thing. We're also going to have a more permanent place for an IHS office so they can bring people back. We were talking about a shower area that they're going to put in laundry for homeless too, and not just homeless, for people who need social services, and it's quite dense around there. So hopefully that'll make it easily accessible for them. They're creating a whole parking lot back there. Right now, there's only got the parking spaces in the front. So one of the reasons why it's so much work is because they're backfilling in the top side of that park that no one can use because it's a hill. They're going to put parking down there too. So it's quite a bit of work, but hopefully it'll open up soon. And yeah, we'll have a good resource for the community. If anyone has feral chicken problems, give me a call. Well, my office is trying to take care of them by ourselves now instead. So I'll come out with a cage if you need it. Was there anything else that anyone had? Oh, Keahala Road. I know Esther isn't here right now, but I had been told that Keahala Road was getting repaved with that whole Kamehameha Highway repaving that was years in the making. I mean, we were putting a lot of pressure on the city because it is really bad. I kind of agree with some of what's in that email that you read. But hopefully we're going to be getting that paved soon. Or when I say we, I mean the royal we. It's really the city's road. But I know that's in the works. It should be later on this year. But yeah, I agree. Terrible conditions right now. That's it.
Rep. Lee.
Hey, thank you, Mo. Thank you, board. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, great job, Scott, putting me last and saying just about everything I was going to say. But yeah, definitely good to be back. Yep. And I just wanted to start with a heartfelt hope that, everyone and their families have been doing okay. We did have, I know the majority of my area is Kailua, but we had a significant portion of Kaneʻohe Bay Drive, in our district guard as well. I was without power probably longer than most for about almost 3 days. But if anyone is continuing to have those problems, please continue to contact TICO, continue to contact our office. We've been tracking everything closely as well as different community efforts to help. And with that in mind, we're looking forward to potentially, another storm or two or some variation of it. And we just want to continue to urge everyone to take a moment to, review your family emergency plans and make sure that you are prepared as well as you can. Yeah, Scott mentioned the landfill. I don't really have much more to add on that except, unlike Makaiba Hills, unlike, when they went to Wahia, what he is currently planning is illegal. And Act 73 was absolutely passed with good reason. And even repealing or amending a portion of it would also open up areas in other districts. So for those who are very concerned, I think we should be concerned. We should be vigilant and be ready. But as Representative Matayoshi said, we're in lockstep. We're working together. We're looking at technologies and I'll give some grace to the mayor. He's trying to, he's tried to go from place to place and, each place keeps saying no. But I think like Representative Keel over on the west side has been saying, we are now trying to look at new technologies and look at the way we deal with waste management instead of just trying to look at where we should put it or, when and all that. So Yeah, I just want to thank the other, representatives and senators who are working with us to make sure that, we find better solutions rather than trying to just point at, what district to put it next. But yeah, that's really all I got to report, Mo and board. Oh, but on a personal note, I'm continuing to juggle, but this school year sees me back in a high school classroom. I'm teaching ninth grade social studies. It's been a joy to be back there. And while my legislative duties are keeping me extra busy, I don't think there's a better way for me to stay connected to our local youth, our education system, and what's going on. So I've kind of been doing that on the personal end. So thanks, board. That's all I've got.
Awesome. Mahalo. Questions for senators, representatives? Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for the report. Thanks for the feedback on all those issues. I guess I want to echo what one of the high schoolers says. Why aren't we more hardened for our electrical facilities? I mean, this was forced. This storm didn't need to be a direct hit, but we got 4 more storms coming up. And I think I've mentioned this for in previous board meetings about, we are the windward side. We get a lot of wind. And I think we should be expecting more impacts from weather. And so is there an effort in our legislature to help us harden our infrastructure? And maybe not just hardening, making sure it's, we stay connected through storms, but security about our infrastructure too, because I think that's a major concern being just being out in the Pacific by ourselves. We're also vulnerable to other influences. And, we've already had incidents of people spiking wells or starting wildfires. So things like that are happening, and how do we make sure our infrastructure is secure and safe?
Yeah.
To the legislature. I mean, I think we got a lot of senators and representatives here, but also another issue, the election commission.
Can I answer that one?
Oh, well, sure. I'll go on.
We go on.
Wait for
So,
that.
about 2 years ago, we passed the securitization bill to give HECO a better financial avenue to, and I made sure it was specifically for things like hardening the grid. So that has been in place for about a year now. I mean, that's not too long in terms of getting financing and getting projects going. But for wildfire mitigation, for hardening, for sure that was passed, and they're supposed to be doing it. Again, very, very early on. Infrastructure as security concerns, I mean, don't tell the bad guys, but our infrastructure is heinously vulnerable. And that's throughout the country, not just Hawaii, and honestly, throughout the world too. I mean, you see what's happening in Russia and Ukraine right now. Infrastructure is always going to be a vulnerable point for any society, and ours is no different, unfortunately.
Right, thanks. Yeah, it's as long as we keep working on those issues. Yes, the other one was election commission. They've been suspended. I hope the legislature can take some interest in what's going on with election commission. And we've, like, as Donald says, we've sat in these meetings for hours and hours of deliberation. But, kind of one of those feedback was people are complaining about the election, basically 2 primaries being decided by chance. And, you can debate one side or the other on that, but it really is about how do we encourage more trust in people? Because this was 33% people came out, and in that one of those particular districts, there's 8,000 ballots that voted, but only 1,600 counted for that primary. So how do we get more people to get out and vote and participate in our elections?
Yeah, I would absolutely love for more people to get out and vote. That's why we did mail-in. We made it much more accessible. I'm not sure how much easier we can make it, rather than letting you fill it out on your kitchen table and put it in your own mailbox. But yeah, definitely more people should vote. Election commission wise, that's going to be more of a governor's office thing than legislature. I'm not sure if we can legislate and force people to be on the committee. It's kind of not going to be like that. Now, as far as the lottery thing goes, I mean, we can more specifically state what should be used to break a tie. I honestly, personally thought a coin flip would have been more fair than that weird grabbing the name out of a hat kind of thing. Yeah. So, but that's up to the election office. It wasn't me. It's supposed to be random if it's a tie. And as far as breaking a tie, I mean, we're a democracy. We can't have an election I mean, we need to prepare for the general. The candidates need to fairly be able to prepare for the general. Having another special election on top of that would give them even less time to prepare for the general. So I thought that was probably not a good financial or fair decision if we were to go that route. So if they had gotten one more person to vote, then we wouldn't have this problem. But when we're left with a tie in a democracy, it seems like the people want both candidates equally, and you got to flip a coin.
Yeah, thanks. I think just one more feedback on that was, we actually made a little change, right? Kāneʻohe District Park was open for voter service center during the week of election, and our numbers dramatically increased. It wasn't a huge number, but it was actually doubled all our previous elections participation. So I went in there at noon on Friday. It was like 495, and the counter started at 297. So we actually tripled our participation from previous users at voter service center. So if we can actually increase that, or I know the answer, right? It goes to the county. County needs to do that, but you do have legislation to provide the incentives to provide more voter service centers.
We could try that. I mean, it's really, you're right. It is much more on the county level, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately.
Okay, we just for everybody's understanding, is we have some more questions. We also have board business to get through. We have to talk about candidate forum, and then we have committee reports. So we have scheduled for 4 minutes left in this meeting. So we have a lot to get through. So can we be a little bit more concise with our questions and responses, please? Sakamoto.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'll make it real quick. Scott, thank you for your report. Representative Lee. Scott, can you do me a favor on your email blast and get some information about the Kāneʻohe Road, how much it costs? I heard it was 30 million, and let people know it's open, because I haven't seen anything from the mayor or the governor saying that it was open. And regarding the Hawaii Housing Authority Public Board of Directors, I gave you guys an email in July 14th to about Laurie Thorson's testimony and the 5 scam that she reported about fraud. Did you ever read that? And do you think there is fraud going on with our state HUD program with Section 8? I brought it up at the Kailua Town Hall meeting. You were there, and Representative Lee was there too, as well as Jared.
Mo, do you want me to? I know you're trying to move on. I don't want to overstep here.
Is this a long story?
Not really, I think. Oh, I mean, Donald, we'll try to get back to your email. I get a lot of emails, and usually my staff goes through it because I've got another job. So we'll try to get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
As far as the road, we've been trying to get an update on that forever. I didn't even know it was open until you just told me. But you live right there. Okay.
You did.
Saw something that I just haven't forwarded to everyone.
I saw. Last we heard it was going to be sometime in the end of August. But you look, I drive past that thing all the time. There's a mountain of rubble there. I mean, I thought it was crazy that they were going to open it. I guess they did at least to get to Ko'olau Ballroom, which is great. So you don't have to cut through whole Malohia anymore. Looks like the on ramp to H3 is going to take way longer. I'm trying to get information. It's pretty slow though.
Thank you, Scott. Because a resident gave us the board to Chelsea Smith something about the Section 8. So I just hope that you look into that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Moving on to board business. We have the approval of the July regular meeting minutes. What's that?
Do we have quorum?
Yep. Motion to accept the minutes as amended. Moved and seconded.
Can I discussion?
What?
Can
You want
I
to have discussion? I was going to.
can I make a recommendation for the minutes? If there is reports, is there a way we can have it attached to our minutes for the record for what they said instead of the video?
Say that again.
The reports that are given to the neighbor board, can it be attached to our minutes as a attachment? Because not everything is accessible. Is it on the Google Drive, Chelsea? It is. Okay. Then I vote for the minutes as written.
I didn't, yeah, I did not. It had been moved and seconded. We went into discussion. Now let's go ahead and recall the vote. Let's move it and second it again, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Awesome. Thank you. Candidate forum is the next item on the discussion. I've been gone to the mainland for a while, so I didn't have a chance to engage anyone about the candidate forum. We were hoping, and yeah, we're hoping to get a room here. Okay. Node. Okay. Okay. I will send our artist a note and ask. Board committees and chairpersons. I think we went over this at the last meeting, and I'm not sure if it made it into the committee reports and assignments as we intended it to. I know Chelsea did some work to try and get us caught back up. Does the committee reports, before I ask for committee reports, does it look correct? Is anybody missing off of anything?
Chair.
Yes.
Sakuma, I'd like to be added to a committee,
Which one?
education.
You're on like 8 committees.
But somebody gotta get it. Anybody else? I'll take on education since I love kids.
Okay.
I don't have kids, but I love kids.
Sakamoto's been added to the education committee, and if anybody wants to join him, that's good. And you got that, Chelsea? Thanks. I think that's where the disconnect is. We talk about something and never makes it back to the NCO. Okay, any committee reports?
Chair, I attended the HPD or Chief Lazar's strategic session. That's very good. Just gave some feedback about more community involvement. They're just going to take that, mull over it a couple months and give us a report on that. So it was very helpful.
Was it good? Was he there?
I think he was there. He's very energetic. He had a very good introduction. It sounds like people like him and that he's really engaging. So he does have connections to Hawaii, a family here in Hawaii. So I think it's positive. Looking forward to good results from that.
Yes. Dale?
2 things. I attended the wildfire planning town hall that was in Kailua. And I'm going to give this to you, Chelsea, but one of the key things that came out of it, Hawaii Wildfire Management Organization spoke, and they're looking to work with the community with a minimum of 4 homes on fire management, wildfire management at your property or in your vicinity. And I do have phone numbers and contacts. I'll give you that. But presentations were made by them, by Honolulu Fire Department, Hawaiian Electric, and what they're trying to do to harden the system, Honolulu Fire Department, and City Department of Emergency Management. And a lot of that was a call out on, as the department is expanding, more things that they're trying to undertake and to do. So that's a good thing. The other thing, Mo, we've been talking about a pod, et cetera. I did meet with Hawaii Red Cross. They do actually have a container, and they would be willing to consider for us to use it here on the windward side. So we will follow up further on that.
Any other reports?
Sakamoto report on HPD. I did outreach to Chief David Lazar, Secretary, and he's going to come to our meeting to meet and greet on October 15th. It's been confirmed. He really wants to see the community of board members and know the people, what's going on in the police department. And then I attended the Holomia Botanical Gardens August 5th workshop. I got this fantastic day with Esther and Scott Matiochi and Auntie Rocky. It was I went to all 3 sessions, and I support the parks renovation plan, long-term plan. And then regarding to the situation with the KK CERT community response team, I attended last week Tuesday at the meeting, and we had guests of fire department, and we had a good report about fire extinguishers, fire alarms, as well as safety for what we have to do when we have natural disasters and fires. I'm glad to be on that committee over there too. Thank you.
Just a quick comment about before this last storm hit us, I contacted Roy Miyahira, who is the homeless coordinator for the city, and asked him what was being done as far as trying to either open up schools or whatever for the people who are homeless. And he said they aggressively went out between city and state, and the governor and the mayor demanded that they work together to go out and seek as many people as possible to warn them. So they went to all the waterways, causeways, and said, you guys have to get out from here because this is what's coming. So I was very pleased with what I had learned. Thanks.
Has anybody heard anything about the Kāneʻohe? How did they fare during the storm? Okay. Might be time for another visit, perhaps. Okay. Any other reports? Hearing none. Our next regular board meeting is Thursday, September 17th, here at Windward Community College, Haleʻokoʻa. And do we have permission to adjourn? Thank you. No, thank you, sir. This meeting is adjourned. I was asking Chelsea. But Donald, thank you for granting it.